Hey everyone, Robert Ferringo of Doc Sports back with the number 10 team on my NFL Power Rankings countdown. We have finally made it into the top 10, and I have a little bit of a surprise pick for my number 10 team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nolan Patrick of Strike Point Sports, we will get to him in a minute. First, I want to mention that if you are enjoying these countdown videos or any of the other videos, be sure to like and subscribe and get on board with the Doc Sports YouTube channel. You get free plays daily from our top team of handicappers. Also, down in the description below, be sure to click on that link and take advantage of $60 free, same as cash, to be used for any handicapper, any package, any sport. And before you ask, yes, that $60 can be used towards our early bird football package, which is already at a reduced price. It's already like 25% off. You can knock another $60 off of that and lock yourself in with Strike Point Sports. Let's just throw it out there. Their full season package, get every single pick that they make through the preseason, through the entire NFL and college regular season, bowl season, playoffs, Super Bowl. You get 6 months of picks for one low price. So, all right, Nolan, number 10, Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like I'm a little higher on this team than most people are. When you saw that I had them ranked number 10, what'd you think? Agree, disagree, too high, too low? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's bad. I really don't. Maybe a spot here or there. I don't think it's bad. I actually like Pittsburgh as well this season. I think they play in just a brutal division, but I'm high on Pittsburgh. I like Kenny Pickett, and I really think I'm going to be on Pittsburgh a little bit more often than like you said, people think.
Why not, right? I mean, they're always a great underdog. You know what you're going to get from this team. They haven't had a losing season in 20 years. 20 years with no losing season. So do we just pencil them in for 9 or 10 wins, even in that division, and just move on because this is the Steelers and this is just what they do? Or is this the year that they're not going to have a winning season? Like, why wouldn't we just expect them to be good? Let's put it that way.
They're the model of consistency. As far as a lot of us, you're a Bears fan, I'm a Giants fan. We have gone through coaching tenure after coaching tenure and just inconsistencies. Whereas this team has been consistent. You know what to expect out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to do it again this season. And oh, by the way, for a bonus, they have the 8th easiest schedule in the NFL this year. So not only do you get a team that wins 9 games when they have a tough schedule, now they have the 8th easiest schedule. So why wouldn't you pencil them in for a winning season yet again?
Yeah, that's the thing about last year. They had injuries. They had a rookie quarterback. They had a Swiss cheese offensive line. They had a brutal schedule and they still found a way, right? They still found a way to get to or above 500. So I feel like the pieces are a little bit more in place. Now, you mentioned Kenny Pickett, rookie last year, should not have been starting. Great that we got to see him, so we kind of get an idea of who he is and what he is, but he suffered those 2 concussions last year playing behind that terrible, terrible offensive line. That's why you don't put rookies out there. You don't risk their long-term health just to get them a little bit of experience. But what were some of your thoughts, injury issues or potential injury issues aside, what are some of your thoughts on Pickett? What do you like? What do you not like? What do you think?
I like him. He's a gamer, plays hard. You can tell that he just wants to win, wants to be part of that Pittsburgh mystique. I feel like he's got, take this with a grain of salt. I feel like he's got Big Ben vibes, just the guy that's going to go out there and give everything he has to try to win a football game. I don't think he's as talented as Ben Roethlisberger was, but when Big Ben went out there, he gave you everything. The guy would be hobbled, he'd be broken, and he would still be out there trying to win a football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was like he wasn't just out there getting a paycheck, and I feel like Pickett's cut from that same cloth. He had 10 total touchdowns last year compared to 9 interceptions. which obviously isn't great, but he's a rookie running for his life behind that bad offensive line, like you said. But one thing that you want to keep in mind, he had 9 interceptions. 6 of those came in 2 games. He had 3 against the Jets and 3 against the Dolphins. So in the other games that he played, he only had 3 interceptions, which is saying a ton for a guy that was running for his life. So I think with another year, an improved Pittsburgh Steelers team, an easier schedule, I think you're going to see a big step for Kenny Pickett this year.
All right, they brought in 2 new starters in free agency and in the draft along that offensive line. For my money, that's been the thing holding them back, while the Bengals and Ravens have continued to stay at that extraordinarily high level, where we've seen Cleveland jump up and make the playoffs a couple times here in the last few years. They have had better offensive line play than the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers have had one of the 5 worst offensive lines, I feel like, for each of the last 3 or 4 years. Have they done enough to support Kenny Pickett at the point of attack? Or is this going to still be another inconsistent Steelers offense because they just don't have it right on the offensive line?
It's going to be better. It's definitely going to be better. You are going to see statistical improvements across the board for this Steelers offense. I think that they're still middle of the NFL, but I do not think that this is a bottom dweller offense that you're going to see win every single game, 16-13. I think that this team is going to average, let's say low 20s per game, 21, 22, 23 points a game. I think that you're going to see an improved Steelers team. Offensively, they're going to be better and, just a bit more exciting than they have, because I think you're going to see a bit more stability across the offensive line.
Yeah, I'm really excited for a full season of George Pickens. I think that guy is really, really good. They added Allen Robinson to bring in that kind of veteran stabilizing presence. They still have Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris. They have weapons around him. If that offensive line can perform, I think Pickett is going to be good enough. Now, you mentioned defensively, that's kind of where their bread has been buttered for the last 20 years. It's just been a ridiculous run of defensive dominance from this franchise. However, showing a few cracks in the facade, right? They were number 16 in the NFL in sacks last year. That's not normally where we find the Steelers. Their core is getting a little bit older. Cam Haywood is 34 now. Is this something people aren't talking about enough, that maybe the Steelers are starting to lose it on that defensive side of the ball? Or it's Pittsburgh, they're the Steelers, this is what they do. They're gonna find a way to field another top 10 or top 12 defense.
I still think they're going to be good. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Hayward, as you talked about, Minka Fitzpatrick, Ogunjobi. I think they're still going to be a good football team. I think something that you really want, or a good defense. I think something you really want to keep an eye on is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 6 of Pittsburgh's first 9 games this season are at home. And if they perform well in those home games, I think you're really going to see this defense and the offense that we just talked about really pick up some steam. Defense teams defensively, when they have a couple of games in a row and they really start to click, you have guys that really just start to perform. They get into a groove. And I think you're going to see that with this Pittsburgh team. I think they're going to be successful early in the year. And we're going to be talking about how they are a good defense again, as they have been in the past. And it's going to just bleed into the second half of the year.
Yeah, that schedule really is one of the big reasons why I like the Steelers, why I have them ranked number 10, right? They play in what, for my money, is the best division in football, the AFC North. But then they get to cross over and play the NFC West, which has 2, for my money, terrible teams in the Rams and the Cardinals, and the AFC South, which is the worst division of football. What do we always say? If you get to cross over with the AFC South, you're going to have a good year, right?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately for the Steelers, the rest of the teams in their division get to play that soft schedule as well. So where do you see the Steelers right now in the hierarchy of the AFC North? Do you think that they have a chance to win this division? Do you think that they are clearly behind Cincinnati and Baltimore? Do you think that the Browns might be better than them? Where do you put Pittsburgh in right now in that AFC North hierarchy?
They're better than the Browns. They're absolutely better than the Browns. No doubt about it in my mind. Um, you know, I think Cincinnati is still the best team in that division. I think that Pittsburgh and Baltimore are very, very close. I think depending on Pittsburgh and Baltimore, whatever team stays the healthiest, they're going to be second. If you told me that not one guy is going to get injured on either team all year long, I think I would put Pittsburgh third by maybe a game behind Baltimore. Maybe a game. I mean, you're going to pencil Pittsburgh in for 9 or 10 wins. They're one of the biggest juice over teams on the season win total list this year. To take over 8.5 for Pittsburgh, the juice is minus 150. So you're looking at 9 or 10 wins. Even Vegas thinks that. So I would go Cincy, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
All right. How about this one? Right now, the odds for Pittsburgh to make the playoffs are paying out. Yes, it's a yes or no. Will Pittsburgh make the playoffs? Is paying out at plus 140. So you're getting plus money on them making the playoffs, which their season win total is 8.5, right? So you could bet that and eat the juice, or you take them to make the playoffs, assuming that 9 or 10 wins, which beats that season win total, and then that could pay out a little bit better at that plus 120, plus 140. Is that the better value if you like the Steelers to bet on them to not make the playoffs? Or do you think the AFC is just that good that the Steelers could go 9-8, have a winning season like they do every single year, and still miss the playoffs because there's just that many good teams in the AFC?
I think the latter. I think the latter could absolutely be true. I really do. I think there's so many good teams in the AFC. You could argue that 3 teams from the AFC East are going to make the playoffs. You can argue that at least 2 in the North are going to make the playoffs. Obviously someone has to win the NFC South. And then, you could, I memean, God, you're obviously Kansas City are the Chargers, are the Broncos going to be anything good out there? I could absolutely see. I think the juice is so high on the over for Pittsburgh because, like we said at the start of this video, you could have shut this thing off. 9 wins, and 9 wins covers that total. So I really see Pittsburgh winning about 9 games and not making the playoffs.
So you would take the over. That season win total set at 8.5. You would be buying on the over with this team?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. 9 wins.
Right. You're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Kind of an idiot if you don't, right? Like if you bet Pittsburgh to go over their season win total and they don't, and this is the year where the streak gets snapped, right? Then you just kind of throw your hands up and say, okay, well, whatever, they'll start a new streak next year. But if you're the idiot who is like, nope, 20 straight years, it's got to end at some point. This is the year. That's not a bet you make. He's on the over. I'm on the over. I like this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I think that they're going to be a great team to bet on in non-divisional games. And even in those division games, when Pittsburgh's an underdog, I'm always looking at them, right? They're always a team that we're going to consider. So should be good. Yeah, week 1 against San Francisco. They're at home, West Coast team coming east. You think the Steelers are just going to roll over for San Francisco? You think there's anything about San Francisco's physicality that's going to bother the Steelers? Like, what are we talking about here?
First week 1 home game in 9 years for Pittsburgh.
And they're a home underdog.
I'll be honest.
So I was going to say, now that he's tipping his hand on that being one of his plays, but all right, he's Nolan Patrick of Strike Point Sports. I'm Robert Ferringo. We are Doc Sports. Carpe diem, and good luck.